Welcome to the Orange County Curling Club. Curling is hands down the most captivating Winter Olympic sport, and you're here today to learn how to curl. I'm here to give you a brief overview of the sport before you take to the ice. The objective of curling is to score more points than the other team. You do this by placing more of your stones in the center of the target, which is called the house. The stones weigh 42 pounds and slide 150 feet down the ice. When you're out on the ice, you're first going to practice throwing stones back and forth to each other. You grip a curling stone with your dominant hand. It goes in between your first and second knuckles, and then the thumb wraps over the top. When you release, you want to end in a handshake position. The next step is adding a handle. The handle is the rotational spin of the stone. The direction of the handle determines the direction that the stone will spin. The thrower places their stone in position to match the direction of the hand signal. The next segment of curling is the delivery. This is where you slide out of the hack to deliver the stone. The first thing you're going to do is step into the hack with your dominant foot. This is your hack foot. Then you crouch down and put your other foot on the slider. This is your sliding foot. The stone and stabilizer should be out in front. To slide out, raise your hips until your back is level. Move your sliding foot back 6 inches. Then slide the stone and stabilizer forward. Bring your sliding foot right up behind the stone. It should be under the center of your chest. As you become stable, you're going to release the stone with the handle that you practiced before. You want to transfer the momentum into the stone. As soon as you start to lose the momentum, you're going to release the stone. Once you have stopped sliding, make sure you pause and step off the slider before you stand up. If you're unable to do the sliding delivery, you can be a stick curler. They are used by many in the club. You start in the hack and walk forward, and then release the stone with the same handle release technique. Wheelchair curlers also use a stick from a stationary position. Now we're going to learn about the most recognizable part of curling, sweeping. Sweeping makes the stone travel further and straighter down the ice. If you don't sweep the stone, it will not travel as far down the sheet, and it will curl more across the sheet. If you sweep the same stone, it would travel farther down the sheet and curl less. A sweeper's starting position is just above the house. In order to sweep, you're first going to face the direction the stone will travel. You're going to hold the broom on the outside of your body. Grip one hand at 1/3 of the broom's length and the other at 2/3. You want to sweep from edge to edge of the stone. The more pressure and speed you can put down on the ice, the more effective you are as a sweeper. If you accidentally touch the stone with the broom or with your foot, it's called burning the stone. It is a foul in curling, and the stone will be removed from play. You don't sweep every stone. You need to listen for the call of the skip to whether or not you should sweep. Common calls to listen for are sweep, hard, and off. There are 2 types of curling shots, the draw and the hit. The draw is when a stone stops in a specific spot. Other types of draws are a guard, which sits above the house to protect it. A freeze is a draw that sits right on top of another stone. A takeout is a hit that takes the other team's stone out of play. A raise is when you use your stone to promote another of your stones into the house. As the stone travels down the ice, it will move laterally, or curl. Lots of factors like direction, rotation, ice, and sweeping determine how much it curls. Curling is commonly compared to chess on ice because of all the strategy involved. It is the skip's responsibility to plan and execute the strategy for their team. Each team has 8 stones, and players take turns throwing their stones to the house. The hammer is the last stone thrown. So now that you've learned all the mechanics of curling, you're ready to play a game. You'll have 1 thrower, 2 sweepers, and 1 skip. Players rotate their role depending on whose turn it is to throw the stones. After all the stones have been thrown, the points are counted up. The team with the closest stones to the button score 1 point for each stone closer than their opponent's stone. So in this case, it would be 1 red because the red stone is the closer, and the yellow cancels out the red. In this case, it's 2 red because the red stones are inside the first yellow stone. If no stones are in the house, it's called a blanket. Only the vice skips are allowed to be in the house when determining the score. They must agree on the score on each end. The team that doesn't score gets the hammer in the next end. Before you go out on the ice, there are a couple of safety guidelines to be aware of. Ice is naturally very slippery. Keep your body weight forward on your toes and not back on your heels. Do not run when you're on the ice. Keep aware of your surroundings and where the stones are. Sometimes they bounce off at weird angles. If you are falling, try to roll onto a shoulder or hip to protect your head. Curling is a sport steeped in tradition. Each game begins and ends with handshakes. It's very much a sport of honesty. You call your own fouls and play fairly. After the game, the winning team buys the first round. Curling has been around since the 16th century when it was played on frozen lakes. In 1998, it became a medal sport in the Winter Olympics. In 2018, it's grown to include mixed doubles and wheelchair curling as medal sports. We have had the honor of hosting a few Olympic and Paralympic athletes at the Orange County Curling Club. You don't need to curl at an Olympic level because all are welcome in the sport of curling. After this class, you're invited to join or sub in on curling. We want to thank you for joining us out on the ice at the Orange County Curling Club and learning how to curl. Good curling!